just gonna let your video play through here once for you. All right, so let's take that back and let's get this over here for right now. If we just look at, we get those eyes locked in that base runner at first base. Get a nice high leg lift. And we can see right at this point here, we can see those eyes starting to switch from being at first to getting to home, head getting turned around. And now that eyes are back on the target at a good pace and tempo with the leg lift, our hips are starting to lead the way. And then we can see from our shoulder to our elbow is going on a slightly down angle. If I drew this arrow straight across, we'd be here, but your elbow is down here. That makes this weight staying back pretty difficult if things that are out in front are going down. Okay? So that's why when we go shoulder to elbow, we need to be getting up at least even with or parallel with the ground. So this elbow here, we need to be getting up somewhere in here, which would then take that forearm this way and have the glove be more here. And we can see then that glove just extends all the way out now, and it's still angle of our shoulders are going this way, but then it stops and goes back this way. Okay, good glove swivel to finish, but we just need to get this glove in a stronger position and have it finish the same way, where it just swivels and then the body comes to the glove. So that's everything with glove side arm. Okay, just working on getting that up more. So if we get some videos just to show you and let's think of some lefties for you. I know we see Randy, but that's a real low slot guy. That's not a good comparison for you. Dun, 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 dun. All right, David. Boom. See that height there and how that now agrees more with the shoulders. Shoulders here, elbows right there. Okay. Let's look at another angle of David. That's loud. All right, let's take that back a little bit. See how that elbow's getting up higher? That elbow's matching more with the entire angle of the shoulders, helping him keep that weight back and then coming through. Let's see, where's some other lefties? Kershaw. Oh, you can just see just from how that starts right there. Boom. Way up high. Let's get a better one to see how he gets there for you. All right, so elbow, shoulder, shoulder. A lot more aggressive with it, so the glove's a lot higher. Boom. Boom. All right. If we can get that glove up higher, we can use that as leverage to now come from this upward angle into this downward angle a lot easier and aggressively, producing more power with less stress. Chris Sale's another lefty but low slot. All right. One of my guys growing up I like to watch. Big old CC. And we'll watch this elbow start to travel up, up, up. Look how much higher that is. And it stays up until it starts to, even still here, and it's up. And we use that up to help us then come down. Look at all that wiggly fat, just controlling that big old mass of his. Mass, the more mass your body has, the more potential to throw gas. That's why you'll start to hear mass equals gas. So the more strong and heavier you are, as long as you're explosive, you can use that weight and strength to your advantage to throw harder. Okay, so that's the front glove. Next thing and last thing we're going to pay attention to in this video is throwing arm, particularly elbow down through your hand. Okay? When this ball falls out of our glove, we want to be able to see. So once it gets all the way down here, we want to be able to see your two fingers, index and middle finger, and that's it. We don't want to see your palm or your thumb. And we want to keep that perspective of only being able to see your fingers and not your palm or your thumb the vast majority of the time that your arm is loading back and that scap is getting loaded. And the only time we want to be able to see your palm and thumb is when the hand gets flipped up to throw the baseball. Okay? And that hand getting flipped up occurs or should occur when we get into front foot strike. And front foot strike means this front foot gets into the ground. And when it first gets into the ground, that's front foot strike. Okay, so we can see the ball here. Right here is the first time that we want to be able to see this perspective of the ball. So if we rewind it from here, let's watch and see if we can continue to see this perspective, and if we do, for how long. All right, so we can still see it from that perspective. We can still see it from that same perspective. Now it's on the side where we see the index finger and your thumb. Now we can start to see that middle finger a little bit, and we can lose sight of a part of the thumb. Okay, so when our hand comes out of our glove and our hand rotates open like this, open like that, okay, your thumb is moving upwards and your pinky is moving downwards at this point. Okay? Right now your thumb is down and now your thumb is going up, up, up. Now it's pointing out and now it's up in the air. Okay? We need this hand position to remain as this elbow gets loaded up. It's not the hand that we load. Okay? We don't want this ball to be going backwards. Okay? And if we use this white little tube here and the rubber, we know right now your hand is behind the rubber already. And then your hand gets even further and further and further behind the rubber. We need to be going to throw, we don't want to be sending this ball further back. We're trying to get it released out in front as much as we can. And if you bring it way back here, we're not going to be able to get it as far out here. Okay? So your hand comes back, and now your hand's opening up. We call that external rotation. Your wrist is externally rotating. And when your wrist externally rotates, your forearm externally rotates. And when that happens, you're externally rotating your shoulder. And we don't want to externally rotate our shoulder until it's time to throw the baseball. And it's not time to throw the baseball until after this front foot gets into foot strike. So we're not throwing yet, but yet your ball right now is telling you we're ready to go because this hand is popped up above the elbow, and that means it's time to throw. But we have all of this time still to go. And now we finally get this foot down, and because this arm has been trying to throw the baseball for so long, look at your front shoulder now at this time. All right, your shoulders are already starting to open. Now, this is all you have left for power now, is right here. Before the ball's out. Once that foot gets in the ground, all that power from the lower body is what's going to help you throw that ball. And then it's up to you to rotate your shoulders after that. Your shoulders are almost all the way rotated at this point. And now we're just trying to force and push that ball out. We're just pushing it out there. Okay? And doing that is a lot of stress on your elbow to make throws like this. All right. So we're going to get some guys up here next to you so we can start to see how we want this throwing arm path action to be working. So we'll keep that right there, right as it's coming out of the glove. Who do we want to get for this? Let's get Chapman, Snell, He's not a lefty. Oh, he is lefty. Okay. And we'll go Dylan Cease. He's not a lefty, but he's a guy that's making his name in the White Sox organization right now. He's been, I think, in the big leagues for a year or two. This is obviously, as you can see, with his minor league team, so it's a couple years old. Excuse me. All right, so we'll start with the one righty, and then we'll stick with the lefties for the rest of the way. Mute that. Okay, so all we really care about is this arm path here. So we're just going to get it to start at the same point that yours is. So ball is out of his glove. Okay. Obviously, it's a little blurry because it's not a slow motion one. We'll see if we can get some ones that are more clear to see. But for right now, let's go. Here we go. All right. So we'll get yours coming out, okay? And we can see right away his, as that ball comes out of his glove, we can already see finger, finger. Okay? And right now for you, we can see finger, finger. So then for you, it starts to open up. And now we can see like this C with your thumb. All right? And as Dylan continues, see how we see the two fingers? And now we still see two fingers. We can't see that thumb. We know that thumb's there, but we can't see it. And now the elbow comes up. See how the elbow leads elbow up? And now we can see the ball. This is a terrible one. We got better videos. Here we go. The Cuban Missile. Boom, ball's out of his hand. Okay, we see his 2 fingers. Still see his 2 fingers. He's in the shadows, but we can still see that the hand is still there. There it is, still 2 fingers. Still 2 fingers. And it isn't until that front foot gets into the ground do we see his palm. Okay. I don't know why it didn't play. There we go. Okay, so even as, so that ball falls out of the glove, and now watch how his elbow loads the arm up. Elbow. Elbow, and it's the rotation of the shoulders that bring this hand up. Watch the shoulders begin to rotate, and that's why the hand goes up. Shoulders begin to rotate, and that's why the hand goes up. Shoulder rotates, hand goes up, shoulders keep rotating, elbow comes through, shoulders keep rotating, hand goes out, shoulders keep rotating to accelerate that throw all the way through. $100 miles an hour. Ball falls out of the glove. We can see those fingers. Still see them. See how it just stays right there? And it's the elbow. Watch this elbow load his arm up. It's the elbow that loads it up. And it's just those fingers just staying there. And it's not until he gets into the ground do we see his palm for the very first time. It's fingers, 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 palm. And then he's out there. Boom. Boom. Okay, so if we go back to yours, we see those 2 fingers, but then very quickly your wrist starts to rotate externally. Rotates, and now instead of the elbow bringing the hand up, it's your hand that's going up. Your hand is going up. And now we can already see your palm here. We still see your palm. 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 And now we finally throw it. So because that hand got into a position that says we have our arm now positioned in the spot that it needs to be in to throw the baseball, but yet the rest of the body, specifically the lower body, is not ready to throw. So because this is not ready to throw and this is ready to throw, this now is left with not being able to do anything, while this lower stuff continues to do what it needs to do to get this front foot into foot strike. And that's why we can continue to see this hand position stay almost identical this entire time. It's because it's just waiting for that lower body to do what it does. So if that lower body is taking more time to get to this position than what your arm is willing to take, we got to then make this arm take more time. And the way we're going to make it make more time is by not getting it into this palm facing us position as early as you do. So once we get into this turning around of your hand, this turning around of your hand, this turning around of your hand, that's the position we only want to get to right now. So that means we have to start working on making sure that when this ball comes out of our glove, that the entire third base dugout or that third base coach can see your palm and the baseball. Your first baseman and first base coach can see your fingers, your index and middle fingers. And as this arm loads up with the elbow, those people, both third base coach and first base coach, have to continue to see that hand be in this same position even as the arm is in motion. So that way, once the shoulders rotate, they will be rotating this hand into the position that it finds itself in right now. Okay? So let's just take some random people here, not even caring if they're lefties or righties, and let's just put them all into... Actually, you know what? Never mind. Well, I thought I had some pictures. Photographs, rather. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Oh, it's all blurry. Never mind. All right, well, let's go with videos. All right, so, excuse me. Let's take Granke. Minimize that. Who's up here? McKay. We already saw him. Where do I start down here? All right, let's get... We'll get even people that look different than us by a lot. And... Nope, that's not going to be a good angle for that. Results against the Yankees this year. That could potentially be a good one. Okay, so what we're going to look at is, boom, front foot strike and what everyone's arm position looks like at front foot strike. So we're just going to slide you over there. See what kind of angle we're going to get once he gets there. Okay, let's just watch. There's those two fingers, and we continue to see those two fingers. And not till now do we see that palm, and his foot is getting into foot strike at this point. So if we just get him into foot strike, boom, this position right here, shoulders squared up, lower half is rotated and driven away from the target, and we got ourselves into this position here with the glove about 60%, 70% of the way finished. So let's minimize him a little bit. We'll throw him, put him right there. There's our next guy, Sonny Gray. All right, so this is way too blurry to be able to slow that down and look at, but foot strike there. That's too blurry, so we'll just get rid of that. Blake Snell, I don't think he's slowing it down enough either. Ball's out. There's those fingers. Still see those fingers. Still see the fingers. And it's not till foot strike. And it's blurry. But we know there's that wrist and there's that palm at foot strike. Get rid of that one as well. Granke. So ball falls out of the glove. It's not until foot strike do we see that palm for the first time. Right? There's that palm. We're just seeing it at this point here. So we'll make that a little smaller. We'll send that there. Move that there. All right, we got Yu Darvish. funky delivery. But at foot strike is when we see that palm for the first time. All right. Right there. Minimize that a little bit. Throw that bad boy right there. And Strasbourg. Ball falls out of the glove. All we see is fingers. We don't see that palm. All we see is fingers. We don't see that palm. It's not until foot strike that we see that palm for the first time. Right as that foot gets into the ground. Okay, so let's make him a little bit smaller. Put him up there. Get him back on top. Drop that down like that. And boom. Okay, so let's look at some of these similarities and differences on this and compared to you. So toes on all of these guys are going right to the target. Toe to the target, toe to the target, toe to the target, toe to the target. Your toe, if we look, let's slide this over a little bit, pretty much straight to the target. Okay, so we got the front foot in a good spot. Now let's look at the belt. Your belt buckle is not very much rotated beyond where it started. That's where it started, and that's where it's at when it gets to foot strike. We look at belt buckle to the catcher, belt buckle to the catcher, belt buckle to the catcher, belt buckle to the catcher. The entire lower body has rotated to the target. So let's look at these back feet. Rotated, rotated, rotating, rotated. Yours hasn't really done anything outside of heel come off the ground. Heel come off the ground. You see that down here, this back foot, heel come off the ground. So if that back leg doesn't do a whole bunch, it's going to be hard for our body to want to rotate. Okay. Now, let's also look at the angles that shoulder, elbow, wrist are creating with these guys. So shoulder to elbow, pretty much straight across. 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 Hand or elbow to wrist, a little in. Elbow to wrist, pretty much straight up. Elbow to wrist, a little in. Elbow to wrist, pretty much straight up. Let's look at you. Elbow or shoulder to elbow, down. Elbow to wrist, slightly out. If you're going to go straight up, we'd say that's here. You're going slightly out. So if this elbow is down beneath the shoulders and we have to rotate to throw, that means look how that elbow is moving now. It's going up. So if the elbow is going up, that means the hand's going to be releasing the ball. Up, up, up. But we need to be throwing this ball where? We need to be throwing it down, right? So let's watch Granke here. We got his foot strikes right there. Shoulder to elbow straight across. Elbow to hand pretty much straight up. And now let's just watch as he goes forward how that elbow can now go bam. All right, the shoulders are rotating. And now the elbow can go down so that the ball can be released down more. Let's watch Strasbourg here as he rotates down. Let's watch Evaldi rotates down. You, down. We go to you, though. That's kind of funny. I just said you for him, and now I'm saying you for you. We got you going big time. Up, 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 up. And it's been going up for so long, it's very difficult for it to have time then to start going back down. It's hard. We're still going up at this point, and we're trying at the last possible second to get it to go down, but the ball's already out of our hands. Okay? So the more that we can keep that wrist position as this hand goes through, we won't have this hand getting above the elbow so quickly, which won't then send the elbow down as you start to rotate, which won't then have to make it go up so long as you finish rotating, which won't then make you forced to have to throw that ball up out of your hands before all that good energy that's driving the ball down comes out of your body. If it's coming down aggressively here, and we don't have that ball in the hand, that aggressiveness can't help that pitch be faster. So eyes and head turn, and this, awesome. 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 Now we just got to get this glove working higher up as it makes its way out, not just sticking the hand straight out, but getting this elbow up higher so this glove can come up higher with it so we get a better, stronger angle. And then thinking about what this wrist position is like as this hand loads up. And if this wrist starts to open up, it's always going to get above the elbow early. If this wrist stays in fingers towards us, palm towards third base position, it's going to be easier for that elbow to load itself up and the hand not to open up. Then we'll be rotating better without the shoulders opening up so early. This will be in a stronger position to then be able to only come up for a little bit before it then is able to come back down.